Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Are you pumped, Paul? Mr. Sean Piccinino, are you pumped?
Yeah, yes, very
You
much. Thanks
pumped
so much
up?
for having me on here.
Yeah, man. What is going on? It's your boy Preston, Fat Samurai Guy, back again, hanging out in the movie dojo. That's right. Director, he's done it all. Martial artist, stunt man, stunt coordinator. He's done everything. Actor. That's right. But hey, it's good to have you here, Mr. Sean Paul Piccinino. Did I say it correctly?
Hey, you got it first try. That is impressive. That is impressive with this Italian last name over here.
I have my moments. They're extremely rare, but I have my moments. But thanks
Yeah,
again for being here, brother, on the
yeah,
show. Going to be
of
talking movies.
course.
Going to be talking about your career, man. But before we jump into your career and leading up to the island, baby, we're gonna lead up to it, and then we're gonna talk about it and have some fun with that movie. But yeah, man, how did you get into martial arts?
Oh wow. Well, I'm gonna date myself here, but cinema had a huge part to play in martial arts, which is of course starting with Bruce Lee. Into the Dragon, and then we went and got every VHS tape we could find on Bruce Lee. Game of Death. I remember, we were so pumped to be able to get a hold of that movie when we did, and then that kind of led us down the path to Jackie Chan. And when I got into martial arts, and of course, Karate Kid came out at that perfect time and
Oh yeah.
age where it pushed me right into it. And I started training in the Okinawan karate.
All right.
Very, very similar. I was lucky that existed in my hometown of Chico, California, which is a small town in Northern California. But there was actually an Okinawan Shorin-ryu karate dojo there, and I'm like, oh, it's so close to to those movies. I got to go train.
Nice.
So
Push.
that I started doing that, yeah. Oh yeah. I trained my ki. But and then we, myself and fellow martial arts students, we really got into finding all the Jackie Chan movies we could, but they didn't they didn't really exist at the video rental store. We had to order them and import them. And luckily I had a couple Chinese friends that kind of had like the in on getting some of those ported over that were actually not dubbed, because the dubbed ones all seemed really silly because, back in the day, the dubbing, they didn't really understand the translations or care. And so it kind of made the movies silly. But when we got to see them in their native language with the subtitles, the movies kind of changed for us. And we didn't mind reading because we wanted to see the movie as it was intended. So I think that's really kind of where my love affair with martial arts began, and it's been a lifelong pursuit. You never stop learning, and I trained, got my black belt in Shorin-ryu karate. And the beautiful thing about that school, that dojo, was they were so open to other styles. This is all pre-MMA, all of that stuff. But we were training with jiu-jitsu masters. We were training with Tai Chi masters, Aikido masters, and we'd bring it all into the school, and we kind of all learned from each other. So, it was like pre-MMA, but we were kind of already doing MMA. So we were grappling, we were doing all submissions, we were doing all of this stuff. Sport judo, I also trained out of there. Nice. For a while, which was just awesome. And so I got exposed to a lot of, beautiful arts and a lot of beautiful philosophy and techniques. And so I knew, even when I moved out of that town, that martial arts was going to be a part of my life. I wasn't going to stop training. I wasn't going to stop learning. And when I went to LA, there was no system. There was no, that style didn't exist. Shorin-ryu was like the closest school was maybe 2.5 hours away from where I lived. And so I had to begrudgingly look elsewhere. And I stumbled upon a school that trained in traditional, like Southern Shaolin Kung Fu or Gung Fu.
All right.
And what drew me in was on the window. I also trained Tai Chi there. But what drew me in the window was Qigong. Was in the window. I'm like, wow, you don't see that anywhere, especially not to be able to go and learn some. Yeah. And so the master there, Steve Pisa is his name, went and talked with him. And the funny thing was, he didn't try and sell me on the school. We talked kind of philosophy. We talked about a little bit about Qigong because I was interested. He could tell that I had been training, he just intuitive. He's like, you've trained before. He's like, you a black belt in some kind of system, and that kind of thing. And then he didn't sell me on the school. We talked about music, our favorite musicians, and we talked about, singer songwriters. And I was just fascinated. I'm like, I got to take a class from this guy because he didn't tell me to come and train at the school. At the end of the thing, he did say, I said, well, I'd love to try a class. He goes, come try 2-3 classes for free. He's like, see if it's right for you. And so I did. I went and trained there and trained there for many, many years. I ended up getting my 4th degree black belt in that system of, Southern Shaolin Kung Fu, which was really, really cool. We did some real traditional training stuff and, like temple training. And there was also really cool in that system. They had some Wudang Mountain like animal techniques that we also learned, which was just all this stuff just fascinates me. And I love, just learning these different things and different stuff that's passed down through generations. And it was also cool to kind of see like the circle of martial arts, like where it begins and like a kata or a form. Mm-hmm. And, they would be similar in the Kung Fu and in the karate, but of course different names and then different footwork, but a lot of the same moves. And you got to say, oh, this is how it kind of traveled around the world and changed in these, unique ways. And that fascinates me. I love that stuff. So martial arts, I definitely took into my movie making, my filmmaking. It's been clearly a huge influence on the stunts and the fight choreography and the stunt coordination that I ended up doing.
Oh, that's amazing. And it's interesting you said that because in Never Back Down 3, I believe, Michael Jai White's film, he has a scene where he's performing katas. I don't know if you've seen that in the movie.
Yeah.
And it's some asshole challenges him, some douchebag. And then he's like, that stuff wouldn't work in here. And he kind of he uses the same technique, but follows it through.
Yeah, using the application.
Makes it effective. Yeah, on the guy, which was you don't really see a lot of martial arts scenes like that now.
No, unfortunately not.
Showing the traditional way work. But that was a fun scene. But we'll get to
very fun.
We'll get to Michael Jai White talk a little bit later when we get to the island. But that's awesome. That is an awesome martial arts journey that you are still on, my friend. That's right.
Yes.
I love how you said you never stop learning. That's right.
Absolutely.
It's the truth. It is the truth. It is the truth.
It is.
But you're hanging out with the samurai guys. I got to ask. What's some of your favorite Jackie Chan movies?
Oh my gosh. There's so many. I mean, we were watching, like I said, the original ones that were really inspiring us, especially with the choreography, was like, there was one called Dragon Fist. And then there was like Meals on Wheels. And there was like, so I have to say, probably one of my favorite, I don't know if it's my favorite movie as a movie, but my favorite fight scenes ever with Jackie Chan, I think you're gonna love this shout out too, is when he goes head to head against Benny the Jet. Akitas. I mean, the first one to me is like, the second one was cool too. Yeah. And it was great. But the first one is just so bonkers and just so back and forth. But with real techniques, you can tell are in there. And Benny's freaking spinning back kick that just would knock people out in competition. I was, already a fan of Benny at that point. So then getting to see that was like, whoa. And then I met Benny years and years later in a stunt gymnastics gym, and he was just in there working out and stuff, and nobody recognized him. And I'm looking at him and I'm like, oh my gosh, that's Benny the Jet. And I went over there and I talked to him. He was so nice, so humble, and just like, this guy's like one of the most badass dudes on the planet, and he's just super sweet, and he knew I recognized him, but he was super cool, but yeah, so that's probably definitely in my top fight sequences of all time.
Oh yeah, I believe Jackie Chan approves of your choices there, sir. He approves of your choice.
But wait a minute. Now, wait. I gotta shout out some other kind of filmmaking, since you're the samurai guy.
Okay.
So that's another genre of filmmaking that highly influenced me. And of course, we've got Kurosawa, right? Seven Samurai, Yojimbo. all of those are, you know, some of my favorites. But also Zatoichi, the original Zatoichis. Oh my gosh, I love those. I still reference some of the imagery from those. Like I'm trying to remember the name of the one where he has to fight his master at the end. Do you know which one I'm talking about?
I think
he ends up having to.
The third one. I think.
It's yes, I think you're correct. Yeah, it's right in there. It's right in there.
So good.
Where the master is boasting that he's such a great master, he can even train a cripple, right? And he's referencing Zatoichi, and he you know beckons Zatoichi to demonstrate his skills. And Zatoichi's sitting in the middle of like a circle of candles, and he draws his sword, that reverse style that he has. He draws it, does all the moves, and then puts the sword back before the candles start sliding in half. And I'm just like, you know, people have borrowed that now. People have done variations of that shot or those shots in so many movies now. But that was the OG. That was the original, and they were so ahead of their time. And the lighting and the angles of that sequence just still blow me away to this day.
Yeah, I got the Criterion Blu-ray box set.
Oh, I need to get that. I got to get that. I gotta get that.
Those movies, they never seem dated to me. They were so ahead of their
time. Yeah.
And what a lovable character. I mean, you feel for that character, but you just don't mess with him.
How many? So you have the total collection. How many movies total? I was having a conversation the other day about this. Man. Like, there's a lot. There's like 20 something, right?
Yeah, I think there's. It might be 26, but then there's outside of the Criterion box set. There was his official last movie was released by Tokyo Shock.
Yes, I saw that one. Yeah, and he's obviously it was years and years later.
Yeah,
and then there was the Then there's the remake with what's that actor's name? Takeshi. Yeah. That one was actually pretty fun too. I mean, I thought it was
his own spin on it, his own version.
Yeah. And then there's a female one too. I think they did a female version of it, just called Ichi, I believe.
Yes.
As well.
Yeah.
I didn't see that one, but yeah, I just love that stuff, and definitely not just as a martial artist was a fan, but also from a filmmaking standpoint. Just so much amazing imagery with foreground, like those tracking shots through the forest when they're running. Like that's some of the first time, you know, Kurosawa did some similar things too. But the trees going in the foreground and just really amazing filmmaking.
Have you seen Sword of Doom?
Yes.
Man. That's the movie that made me a Nakadai fan. Tetsuya Nakadai fan. I was like, I'm a fan of this actor for forever. I think he's still alive.
Yeah,
no, I'm not sure, but I think he's still alive.
Yeah, I think he might be. You might be right.
Yeah. But yeah, there's just so many. I mean, you have the Lone Wolf and Cub movies. But back to Jackie.
So good.
I know. Yeah. Back to Jackie Chan. I actually also ran into Benny the Jet twice. Actually, had a chance to meet him at Sammo Hung debuted the pedicab driver down here in Hollywood at the Egyptian Theater. And so Benny was there. I didn't even know he was there. And I met him there and chatted him. I didn't want to bother him. And then I ran into him many years later at Dragon Fest. And he's a sweeteheart there. I wanted to talk long with him, but I didn't want to bother the guy.
But
he was a nice guy. He was a nice guy. Maybe I can get him on the channel and we'll talk.
That'd be super cool.
If I get him on the channel, I'm gonna hit you up.
Oh yeah, dude, I would come
on. Get him on the show.
1000%. Yeah.
I'll hit you up, man. Happy here with us.
Absolutely.
Already we're brothers. We're brothers already. Same taste.
Yeah. And Sammo too. Talk about another legend. Okay, now I got to shout out one of my favorite Sammo Hung movies, which is his directorial debut. Do you know which one?
Is it Warriors 2 or is it Iron Fisted Monk?
The Prodigal Son.
Oh, Prodigal Son. Okay.
Which maybe I'm wrong, but it was touted as his directorial debut, which of course he also plays a role in it as well. But I love that movie.
We were just talking. That's one of my favorites of all time, I think.
Yeah, it's so good.
And stuntman and action director, martial artist, sweetheart, Jude Poyer. I had him on the channel recently. It was an epic show. And we were just both gushing about the Prodigal Son.
Yeah, it's so good.
It just
Sammo Hung, you're like
hug. That movie's a big hug.
Yeah. It's such a good lesson as well, like to all sorts of things, obviously martial arts, but but that thing of family and loving your children, in a way that could be a detriment. Like he never actually let his son be trained, and that, those kinds of things. It's really, really an interesting story and so many great elements to it. And Sammo Hung's acrobatic ability in that scene with the painting, the calligraphy is just amazing too. I'm just how does he move that way?
Yeah, Yuan Biu and Lam Ching Ying, and the movie that introduced me and my friends to this. This is the greatest thing. I mean, this is the classic, right? Come on, this is the greatest thing ever. This at one point was almost my logo.
Oh, really? That's great.
Almost my logo.
I love it.
But yeah, Prodigal Son's amazing. Man, Knockabout.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yep.
It's insane. It's just so.
So
good.
one of my really good friends and like a big brother to me in this business from the get-go gave me all my biggest breaks. Really, honestly, especially the early on. Gave me my very first stunt doubling job. He gave me my first stunt coordination job. I got my first second unit directing job through him. His name is Alan Noel Vega. And he was very good friends with Sammo at one point. Like Sammo even came and lived with him when he came over to the US, did martial law, all of that stuff. Yeah. My dear friend Noel was, helping with all of that stuff. He did a lot of the action on Jet Li's first, what was that, Once Upon a Time in China, all of those kinds of things. Yeah.
More other classics, yeah. For sure.
Yeah. So it was
cool was that? Yeah, shout out.
Yeah, it's very cool. Yeah, and he gave me he gave me an autographed photo of Sammo on one of their sets that I still have framed and up. I never have gotten to meet Sammo, but I cherish that image.
I was going to ask, please frame it. Please frame it.
Yeah, it's framed. It's framed. Yeah.
But yeah, I when at the Pedicab driver premiere, I got a chance to get my picture taken with Sammo, which is one of the highlights.
Awesome.
But I didn't get a chance to talk with him. But that was a great night. But yeah, that was actually my next question. Did you always wanted to get into the action film industry or get into stunts, or is this something that just kind of happened naturally?
So yeah, it's interesting because I have obviously a couple pretty strong passions, one being filmmaking and one being martial arts, right? I have other passions as well, like music and stuff like this, but the martial arts and the movie making obviously came crashing together. But I grew up in the theater. My dad was a drama professor. He directed 2 plays a year. He produced Shakespeare in the Park. So I kind of grew up in this very artistic, world, and entertaining, audiences was just kind of part of my upbringing. So, and that, then correlated and led into filmmaking, with my parents bringing me my first camera when I was like 12. It was actually borrowed from the school my dad worked at. And I started doing stop motion and then my own kind of, short films and music videos and things like that. But when I moved to LA and really decided to pursue this, of course, one of the natural things that happened through martial arts, through, I wouldn't say gymnastics because I was never like a formal gymnast, but I trained a lot at gymnastics, studios up in LA. And one of my friends there, a really amazing gymnast and also martial artist, he is kind of pulled me into the stunt world. And then meeting one of his friends, which was Alan Noel Vega, who I mentioned earlier. So that's kind of how that world collided. I was already making my own short films. I don't know if I did my first feature yet when that happened. It was right around the same time. Basically, just me and friends and family decided we're going to make a feature. Didn't even matter what it was. We didn't go to film school. So it was from beginning to end, we're going to do a feature-length film, make all the mistakes we could make. We just all took our credit cards and we bought some gear and, just one of those kind of projects. And it was great because we learned a bunch. We made tons of mistakes, and it was absolutely our schooling on all of this. That and then spending time on sets as an extra and background. We all did that and learned a ton about the business. But yeah, so that kind of, it was natural, especially with making friends in the martial arts space, that inevitably somebody said, hey, come and, get beat up by the star of this movie and get paid for it. Oh, that sounds cool. Let's do it.
It's fun.
Yeah. And also through martial arts, I had done a bunch of demos. You go to the, whatever county fair and do a demonstration. And so I had a little bit of choreography and also stage combat. I had a little bit of choreography background from those kinds of things.
Right.
So it kind of lent, and just watching so many martial art movies growing up, I guess I had a little penchant for that. And when I asked, when the day happened, when somebody asked me, hey, can you throw a little fight together? I did it. And apparently it was good enough for them to want to use it. And that's kind of how that snowballed into the next stages of my career.
How cool is that? That's awesome. But man, I got some of your projects over here that you were involved in. You can tell us a little bit about your involvement in it. I watched the hell out of this show right here.
Yes.
I was obsessed with this show because we really didn't have anything like this.
It was cool, man. It was a really cool concept. It was a lot of fun to make. I mean, it was a lot of work to make, and a lot of people just blood, sweat, and tears because it didn't have a big budget. But we had lots of lofty, dreams with that show. The guy who created it, Tim Prokop, is still a good friend of mine. Nice. We're actually collaborating on something right now. And then Noel Vega, again, the reason I got a job on that show, and I started on that show as his assistant coordinator, and I got bumped up to being a second unit director on that show. And that was one of my first bigger directing gigs, was doing that. And we had a ball. I also got super lucky and I had to audition. I had to send in tapes, but I got the part of William Wallace in one of those episodes. Right. And I just had a blast playing that. It was so much fun.
But yeah, this was like, man, I was excited for every episode because it was just something very unique about it for its time. But yeah, how cool is that? But you also
it was a blast.
Part of a lot of extremely popular video game franchises, my friend, man. I mean,
I've been lucky with
a couple of UFC games, Sleeping Dogs, Prototype 2, and especially the Call of Duty franchise, man. And these are three classics right here. That's right. Yeah. World at War is one of the best campaigns ever. Yeah. Black Ops and Black Ops, mostly Black Ops 2. I played that to death.
Played
that for hours.
Yeah, World at War was the first Call of Duty that I got to work on, and like the same group of stunt guys and stunt coordinator and all of that. That was the first one we did. And if you remember, that was the first one that had the zombies, zombie levels at the end. So, if you've played any of those games, I did about 5 or 6 of them. You've shot, stabbed, blown us up, run us over, you name it. And yes, I am one of those zombies, or multiple of those. We all played a bunch of different zombies, and that was so much fun. And we were all like scratching our heads going, zombies in like this World War II game? We're like, I don't know. Like, is anybody going to want to play this? So we had no idea it was going to become like a really like kind of a phenomenon in of itself. And but yeah, Black Ops 2 was super awesome. I got to do full performance capture on that one. So it wasn't just the stunts and the action. I also got to act out the scenes, and I voiced several characters. Modern Warfare 2 and 3, I'm trying to remember which one it was. I got to do all the motion capture and stunts for Soap McTavish, if you remember him.
Nice, yeah.
The dude with the dude with the cool hairdo.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, it was. Those were a ton of fun, a ton of work. People go, oh, it's a video game. They can just animate stuff. Well, they do. It's a big part of it, and it's a blend of live action and animation. But if you see a scene where somebody has to get thrown down an elevator shaft, I'm on the set. They call it the volume, and I'm sitting there. I go, so how are we going to do this elevator sequence? And they're like, well, we're going to build you an elevator shaft to throw you down. I'm like, oh, great, fantastic. And they did, and I fell down it. And that's how,
goodness.
A lot of that stuff, it's like, oh, here's a motorcycle crash. How are we going to do this? we're gonna kind of make a fake motorcycle and then make you crash it. I go, oh, okay, cool. I guess you don't want to just animate that part, huh? You want to actually make me crash, okay? But all I can say is the chiropractors love me. I've kept them in business over the years from those games, but I also got to assistant direct on some of them, and again help in the stunt coordination side of them as well, which was just a ton of fun.
That's awesome. That's awesome. You got Larry here in the house. He goes, "Hey, Fat Samurai Guy," and Sean. He's saying,
"Hey,
hello
how's it going?"
Yeah, yeah. You got Kijawak here. Very inspiring stuff. Kudos to you, sir. Look at that. Yeah.
Thank you. Thanks for tuning in and watching too.
Yeah, certified channel, badass member there, Kijawak. But yeah, man, that's really awesome. And they're still remaking some of these games today. You know,
yeah.
There's a remake today. You know, of a newest Call of Duty. I'm out the loop. I don't know what's out now because this was my era of gaming where I gamed for hours. I've kind of slowed down. I want to get back to it though. I really do. I want to get back.
Yeah, there's some good stuff out there now.
Oh yeah. Jen, did you get a chance to with Ray, Mr. Ray Park?
I did. Actually did some video games with Ray as well. So we actually got to know each other pretty well, and I learned at one point to do a butterfly twist, his kind of iconic move he did in Phantom Menace.
Yeah.
I learned how to do that literally just so I could do it with him in like a video game. I'm like, I'm going to learn how to do this because I get to work with Ray, and should it arise, and of course it did arise, where he's like, you said you could do it, so now you get to do it. I'm like, oh shoot, now I got to do this in front of him. But no, that was a lot of fun working on Jin. We did. I got to fight him in a couple scenes, just as a kind of, faceless goon or whatever.
Yeah.
But I also helped with some of the design stuff and the coordination stuff. Got to run safety for a bunch of folks. We were throwing people out windows and third stories and stuff like that. And by the way, you'll get a kick out of this because Noel Vega did a lot of this stuff. He actually started stunts in Hong Kong. So he learned a lot of the Hong Kong way of doing stunts. So all those window falls and stuff, we were doing the boxes. We didn't have any airbags. We were doing, you're going up another story. Let's add another layer or two of boxes, and that's how we rolled.
The OG way, right there. The OG way. Yeah. Oh, that's cool. You got to work with Ray, and you had a little back and forth. That's what it's all about, man.
Ray was doing all his own stunts too. Like he had to jump this banister, which was a stupid far drop, and we had all the pads and everything for him. He goes, no, on this take, get rid of the pads. We're like, what? And he just jumped over that banister, landed 2 feet, boom! Just his powerful. He's got such powerful legs, but just stuck the landing. And I was like, I think both my knees would have shot straight out the, just would have blown them out. So he was legitimately a badass.
Well, he's a Sith Lord.
He used the Force there for sure.
He's the Force. You were a part of stunt coordinating for this show. Is this a series, right?
Yeah. Series Casa Grande. Yeah. Yep. That was much more like visceral, kind of gritty. The action in there. I also directed second unit, but I also was a B-cam op for that whole series. Just because those filmmakers are really, really dear friends of mine. I've actually directed 8 movies for that company. So I just was like, hey, what help do you guys need? And I'm there, and I'll have your guys' back. So I actually operated camera on that entire series.
All right, nice, man, nice. Like you said earlier, learning as you go, right? Being a sponge, soaking it all in, soaking in all the knowledge. Yeah,
keep learning, just keep learning.
That's awesome, man. And looking over your whole just legacy here on IMDb, I mean, you're involved with almost every single genre out there. I mean, how cool is that?
Yeah.
You got your toe in a little bit of everything. And another thing we really celebrate here on the channel is not just martial arts and action, but it's also horror, baby. And I see you're part of several horror projects, but tell us about this right here. Look at that guy. Look at that handsome guy.
I don't pursue acting anymore, and maybe there's a good reason for that. Sometimes I'll do cameos. Well, I should say, if anything I'm directing, I always, I got to get a little Hitchcock in there. I'll do a cameo in some which way.
Right.
But the The only time I really act anymore is like for friends. If there's a fellow director or producer is like, hey, come play this part for a day or something, you know, I'll jump in there. But yeah, that one was Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, and it was for a dear friend of mine. So I jumped in there and did my worst.
Well, how challenging was it to kind of?
It was challenging. Oh yeah,
roles, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah, and just like slipping into madness. You know, that was the challenge.
Copy that. Kidwick says you met Ray a couple of times. All right, nice. Great guy. Shakes hands with everyone. Just gave him a double-bladed lightsaber, and he started swinging. How fun!
Oh yeah, yeah. He'll do
Showing
that.
Off,
he'll
man.
definitely do that. Yeah, if you give him any kind of double-bladed lightsaber or any lightsaber, really, period, he's gonna start doing some cool moves for you.
Nice. This next one, Street.
Yeah.
Get ready to fight. What's this one about?
So that was like a early MMA movie. There wasn't really any MMA movies when that one was first coming out, maybe one or two. But that one, I helped stunt coordinate on that one. It was actually a good friend of mine, Arnold Chon, who was the main stunt coordinator. But he got called up to direct some second unit scenes on that film. So he couldn't be in two places at once. So he called me up and said, hey, would you come help me on this project? We got MMA fighters on this, which was super cool. We had, a bunch of UFC guys were in the movie. Actually, even a WWE wrestler guy was in that movie too. So we got to work with all of them, and they were all super nice and super fun to work with, and help do the choreography. And yeah, that was actually a lot of fun.
Copy that. I gotta check that one out. I don't know if you know, but I say I got you here. Might as well ask you. Any word on the Mark Kerr biopic movie starring Dwayne Johnson? Is that still happening?
You know what? There's a lot of stuff shifting. I mean, last year was really difficult on the industry as a whole with the strikes and everything going on. A lot of stuff got pushed. So I think it is still happening, but it might just be on an extended schedule.
Okay.
And also with The Rock, Dwayne, which by the way, I have actually met on multiple occasions, and we have mutual friends and family. So he's a wonderful, wonderful human being. I mean, such a big heart, and I always champion whatever he's doing because he really, really goes above and beyond to try and help people. That's his like mission statement in life is that he's got fame and he's got fortune and all that stuff, but he tries to give back like at every turn. But yeah, so I really hope he does. That project still happens. I just know a lot of stuff got put on pause last year.
Makes sense.
And we're not, the industry's still not sure exactly what projects are going to go when. But it's definitely on the docket, I think. So I'm hoping it does come to fruition.
Well, he's definitely got the build and the athleticism to pull it off. So it should be an interesting movie for sure. The Lackey.
Oh, yeah. You're pulling out some old stuff here.
Yeah. What's this?
So that one, that was my second feature that I ever did, and wrote it and co-wrote it with actually my Kung Fu Sifu. Nice. He's a writer, novelist, and so we wrote this together. And this was just a labor of love. The filmmakers at Hectic Films that I partnered with on this, it was. We kind of accepted the challenge that we called it the Robert Rodriguez Challenge, which was we had read that he made El Mariachi on $7,000. So we set that as our goal. We're going to try and make this movie for $7,000, just purely, again, as, we're going to learn a bunch of stuff. We're going to make a bunch of mistakes, but we're going to have fun. And that movie we're super proud of. We got it into a bunch of film festivals across the U.S. We won, I think, 11 awards, including 2 Audience Choice Awards. But again, it was one of those things that we made it for, and 7,000 includes all the Del Taco and, that was literally all in on that project. And
$6,000 of it go to Vernon Wells.
No, Vernon just came and did it. He was so cool. He was a friend of a friend of a friend. And, we're like, oh, we want, we've got this little bonus scene at the end. And somebody suggested him. And I'm like, oh, wow. You mean the guy from Mad Max that scared the shit out of me when I was growing up? I go, yeah, let's bring him on. And of course, he's the nicest, just most humble, nice guy you've ever met. Mm-hmm. yeah, he just came and did that, and maybe we threw him $100 or something. I don't know, but it was nothing.
What a sweet
And
yeah.
Yeah, and then we did a couple other projects together after that, and I'm always thinking about him when I'm casting.
Commando.
Oh yeah. The main baddie in that one.
Yeah.
I saw him somewhere. Somebody recognized him from that, and they walked up to him and they said, oh, what did they say? They said the line to him from Commando, and he didn't even flinch and repeated the line back. Like somebody walked up to him and said Arnold's line. It's like when they face off, and he literally just spit the return line right back to him. Didn't even blink. Didn't even smile. He was in character, and the guy just like lost his mind. And I was just like, he's awesome for doing that, engaging with people that way.
John, I'm gonna shoot you between the eyes, John. Blow off some steam, Bennett.
Yeah, blow off some steam, Bennett. Yeah, it was really fun working with him. And but yeah, that little movie is interesting because it's a movie we made for $7,000. It's my second movie. Yeah. It's very imperfect in many ways, but years later, some producers that I ended up doing a really cool project with, during my kind of interview process with them, they wanted to see a feature that I had done. And unbeknownst to me, they found that movie and they watched it. And when I found out they watched it, I was embarrassed because I'm like, okay, this is a big project that I was stepping into, and possibly stepping into at that point. And I was embarrassed to watch my $7,000, Guy Ritchie, Tarantino homage film. Yeah. And so I thought, oh, great, I'm going to lose the job. They're going to see all these flaws and all these mistakes in this film. But instead, I had it was like my third meeting with them, and they called me in and they said, hey, we watched The Lackey. And I went, oh boy. And they said, did you really make that for $7,000? Because another producer friend had told them that I had did that, the one who recommended me in the first place. And so I said, yeah, it was right around $7,000. And they said, you're hired. So it got me that bigger job just, based on what we could do with that kind of money. So it's one of those things that shows you every project, doesn't matter how big or small, you're growing from it, you're learning from it. When people ask me, what's your advice to budding filmmakers? Just go make stuff. Make it. Doesn't matter what it is. Just do it. Just do it now.
Do it now.
Get to the chopper.
Hey, that's pretty good.
So yeah, it's
awesome, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, copy that. And now we're switching gears here. Like I said, you're in all kinds of genres here. But congratulations to your Netflix specials, man. For all you holiday movie fans out there. You might want to check these out. They're in the top 10, all of these movies.
Yeah, we got of course that was strange for me to kind of dip my toes into that, because for sure my filmmaking journey up until that point had been very much action orientated. But again, these really lovely production team called ESX Productions, they make all sorts of genres. So the first movie I did with them was called American Fighter. It's a gritty action one. I think you would dig that movie. That's the one.
It's in the queue, baby.
I think you'll look at that. You got Tommy Flanagan from Sons of Anarchy, freaking all of that. So he's awesome. Then you got Sean Patrick Flannery in there, who's a legit, as I'm sure you know, jiu-jitsu master. Mm-hmm. So it's really cool getting to work with all of them. So that's the first movie I made with ESX Entertainment Productions. And, and we had a great experience. I thought they were awesome. Obviously, they thought I did okay because they then offered me kind of a coming of age, like teenage romance movie. And they're like, we know this isn't really your genre, but we loved working with you. And this is what we're shooting next. If you're interested, we would love to have you direct it. And I'm like, hey, sure. Again, I grew up in the theater. I love, my dad directed musicals, Shakespeare and to comedies, whatever. To me, being a part of this process is all the reward, that I could ever need. So, I said, sure, let's take a swing at this. And the movie actually did pretty well, and so I did some other stuff with them. I did a really kind of a rated R comedy with them, and then I did another kind of teenage coming of age race car movie, which was really fun too. And then at that point, there you go, Lady Driver with the awesome Grace Van Dien. She is so awesome. She went on Stranger Things this last season. She's a total movie star, but then and a total sweetheart. But so kind of doing those movies and kind of mixing up the genres, then we came to the point of which, hey, we're thinking about doing a Christmas movie. And you know, at that point I was just in, I go, let's do it. And this was also June of 2020 when we shot that. So we were in the middle of the pandemic. Wow. Everything shut down. You know, it was just like, nobody's going to have Christmas movies this year. Let's try and make this movie. Let's see what happens. And none of us had delusions of grandeur. We did not, you know, we just hoped somebody watched the movie. It was cool. It was going to be on Netflix. And it went #1 in the world, which all of us were totally shocked. We were like, did not see that coming a million miles away. But because of its success, Netflix was like, hey, give us another one. So we're like, okay, we shot a sequel. That one also did really well. And then we did a third original. Well, I did a third original in That Some More. But ESX as a company, they did several other Netflix originals, you know, based on the success of those films. So it was just a really cool experience. And then, you know, having success in those genres, again, it just opens doors, and it opens, you know, opportunities. And of course, I kind of put out to the universe, I want to do some action again. I do really want to do some more horror films. I think that's a really fun space to play in. Yeah. So there is some stuff in the works right now in that genre that I think you'll really dig. Nice. So yeah, hopefully this year I'm going to shoot at least one of those. And
yeah.
We
gotta come on back. We got to talk about it right here, man.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, speaking of Van Dien, look at this guy. Look at this handsome guy right here, man. This looks epic. This looks epic. And how cool that you got a chance to be with Casper and the crew and have your own panel at Comic-Con. How awesome is that? Yeah.
So the Casper Van Dien and myself, we can now go way back. We've done, gosh, probably almost a dozen projects together now. He's one of my dear friends, and Grace Van Dien, who you saw starred in Lady Driver, that's his daughter, of course. That's how I knew her and put her into the mix to get cast in that movie. But you know, it's one of those things I told her, you're going to have to win the role. You know, these producers, I can't tell them who to cast. But she's so fantastic. She did win the role.
She killed it.
She crushed it.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, so yeah, Casper, and that was a lot of fun. We shot that in Louisiana. It's a very kind of like throwback B-C level series, but on purpose. You know, it was like an homage to like the 70s and 80s sci-fi, and we just had a blast doing it, and loved all the cast. And
where can we?
That was on Crackle.
Oh,
Sony Crackle, and it did really well for them. But again, it's like cheese to the max, so be prepared for some cheesy effects and
I love the cheese.
Some silly fun. Yeah.
When cheese is done right, cheese is the charm, right?
Exactly.
But I had a great time interviewing Casper Van Dien last year.
Awesome! I'm so glad you got him on the show.
I got a chance to meet him. He's cracking me up. He was making me laugh. But
he's hilarious.
On the show last year for his film Mad Heidi, which he and that.
Oh my gosh,
he's so good.
Talk about genre films, and I just loved that whole concept. I was I was openly super jealous that I wasn't involved in that somehow. I'm like, I wish I would have thought of this crazy movie.
Speaking of cheese, literally.
Yeah, that's his whole character. I forgot. That's right. He's like lactose. Everybody is like lactose intolerant, or is he lactose intolerant? I'm trying to remember which one it is. But yeah, that's hilarious.
I think that was the people they arrested, I think. And took
right. Yeah.
But yeah, it was great meeting him last year. That was a huge highlight for me. So, but yeah, American Fighter is on the list. Samurai Guys, check it out.
I think you'll dig that one. It's gritty. It's visceral. That one's not really over the top. All the fights in there. This is pre-MMA. This is pit fighters. You know what I mean?
Okay.
These are just brawlers. And this kid is a wrestler who ends up going into this underground fight world, and he's doing it for altruistic reasons. He's trying to help his mom. She's in Iran during 1981, as if you know, that was in the middle of the crazy huge conflict with Iran, and she was battling cancer. So he was trying to get her out of the country, couldn't do it through immigration at the time, and he basically had to raise money as quick as he could to like smuggle her out of the country and get her to the U.S. where she could get Western medicine, and you know, so he gets kind of pulled into this underground fighting world, and so that's the motivation behind him fighting in this stuff. So it's a cool movie, and it
got a little bit of that, little bit of a Lionheart vibe to it. Sounds like
totally has a line. It's like you know, it's got elements of Karate Kid, Rocky, and Lionheart. Lionheart for sure was an influence. Yeah.
How cool is that? Well, another reason why it's in the queue, and I'm probably just going to end up buying it because it's me. When I came across this article, was one of the reasons why I put it in the queue. Was Screen Rant had 10 best martial arts tournament movies list, and
I was blown away
on the list, baby. What?
I was blown away. Look at the stuff on that list. That was I you know, I'm not too proud to say I freaking cried when I read that Screen Rant put that on the list. I mean, you got Enter the Dragon, you got Karate Kid, you got Bloodsport, you got, I mean, come on. Like, how did our movie get on that list? That just blows my mind. I promise I didn't pay anybody. I promise I didn't pay anybody for that list. If I could have, I probably would have, but I didn't. That shocked me. That was like such a nice surprise to see that pop up.
Yeah, once I saw that, I was like, it's in the queue. Putting it in the queue. Samurai Guy's going to watch it for sure. You got to get going. Awesome. He's saying awesome there. That's really cool.
Thanks, really guys.
Cool. But yeah, man, that is awesome. You're just dipping your toe in all different genres, and you know, you never know. That's probably most likely gonna benefit you.
You know, I had
so that way you can have the emotional content. I'm stealing from Enter the Dragon now. The emotional content with your, you know, my brother from another mother, Rick Myers, always says you have your mind candy and you have your eye candy. All in the same movie, right?
Yes. I try. Man. I try even, you know, even on, you know, if you're talking about a silly rom-com or you're talking about a gritty action film, I try my best to put a lot of emotional heart into it. You know, even with, you know, if it's just more of a popcorn action flick, you know, I'm still the motivations behind the characters, the performance, it all has to resonate. It's got to have a lot of heart. That's what I'm trying to accomplish with these movies. And I had a really great, I've had several really great mentors. I've been very lucky to have those mentors coming up through this business, which is an incredibly tough business. Just going to put that out there. But I had, you know, the good fortune to have some really great mentors. And one of them told me early on, that if I wanted to be a filmmaker, like I wasn't just trying to be another actor, you know, or even just a writer, or I wanted to make movies. That was my goal. And he told me, if that's truly your goal, you need to go out and take every job you can get. Do not turn down a job if it's on a set. And it doesn't matter what you're doing. It doesn't matter your PA. It doesn't matter if you're in the costume, you're in the hair, you're in the makeup, whatever it is, gain that experience because it'll make you a better filmmaker. And I took that to heart. That's why you see on my IMDb, you see I have makeup credits. I have, you know, I've got every job you could possibly do I've done on a set. And honestly, the beauty of it is not that I'm like some kind of know-it-all, because I didn't master any of those crafts. But what it did was help me to understand, now that I'm on, you know, the captain of the ship, when I say, hey, let's do a look change on that costume, I understand what that actually means, what that takes. Yeah. It's not, hey, 5 minutes, they're going to have something for me. Like, no, that's an entire look change. So now it's going to take this amount of effort. Or if I say, you know, I don't like this backdrop, is there, what can we do to change it? What can we do to mix it up? That's now art department, production designer involved. They've got to figure that out. And, obviously you have great teams that think on their feet and move, but I have a level of understanding and respect from going through that. And also it helps me with time management. I can go, okay, I understand that this is going to take X amount of time, or at least I have a vague idea where I'm not just stabbing in the dark, just saying, hey, how come you didn't, swap out that artwork out of the thing in 2 minutes? Like, why are you holding us up? It was actually me who's holding us up because I asked for something that they don't even have or whatever, So it's one of these things that really, by doing that, I feel like it really helped me as a filmmaker in just such a profound way. So I'm so grateful to this day that I think also coming from the theater, I also had that too, right? Like where I'm just, I'll do any job. Like it's everybody, that's such a community. Like we all work together to make this production happen. And so with that ingrained in me and those good advice, it's just helped me tremendously.
Well, your hard work has paid off, brother, because your movie, The Island, has been #1 on Stars for some time now. Congratulations, my friend. Congratulations.
Thank you.
It's still #1 now, right?
It is. I checked this morning. I can't help it. I'm checking every morning. I'm like, is it? It's still there. But no, we're also in our 4th week in the top 10, which is just blowing my mind. Look, this movie came out last year, unfortunately, 3 days after the actors' strike. And even though it was an independent movie that we made in a different country in the Caribbean, had nothing to do with the AMPTP, which is what the strike was happening with. It was 3 days after that strike happened, so nobody knew or understood the parameters. Like, is it okay to talk about the movie's release? And everybody's representatives told them, don't do it, including my own. My own reps told me, you know what, you should probably cancel the premiere because there'll be bad optics. You're not in solidarity with SAG and blah, blah, blah. So we didn't get to promote this movie's release at all. So it came out in limited theaters. It came out on VOD to zero fanfare. Michael, Gillian, Jackson, all of the stars, they couldn't promote it. So it was, I was crestfallen, here was this movie that we all put a lot of effort into. We had a wonderful time filming it out in the Caribbean. It was like my director of photography, Brad Rushing, and we look at each other, like pinch ourselves. We're like, we're getting to this opportunity to make this movie in one of the most beautiful places on the planet Earth. It was one of those moments where we really tried to absorb it. Like we recognize, wow, we might not ever get this opportunity again. This is amazing. Yeah. Let's just soak this in. This is incredible. And by the way, my director of photography, Brad, I've worked with amazing director of photographies, but Brad and I have built a really beautiful friendship over the years. We share passion over music. We both play guitar and bass and drums and all these things. And he has been my director of photography on all 5 of my movies that have topped the charts. So I'm just putting this out there. I think we've got a pretty awesome synergy, and I think Hollywood, you should be knocking on our doors and trying getting Brad and I to do more projects together. Yeah, because this, it can't be coincidence anymore, right? There's so many elements that go into this, of course, but I'm just saying that myself and him, have been involved in all of these projects that have gone, #1, #2 for us, which is just unbelievable. But it was, so we were crestfallen that the movie, we just didn't get to have any kind of real release for it. Right. And then we get to the first of the year and it debuts on Stars and just rocket shipped up the charts to #1 and has just been beyond our wildest dreams. Thank you to the audience over at Stars and to Stars, of course, and our partners, distribution partners and production partners in Saban. MSR Media, which was the production company, just they're all so awesome, and the results are speaking for themselves. It's just it's an amazing feeling that this project that we thought really wasn't going to ever be seen has now found an audience, and they continue to find it.
That's right. That's what.
I'm blown away.
That's what we're talking today, baby. That's right. We promoting it now. That's right.
Yes,
Samurai
yes.
Guy's kicking it off. The year 2024 here. We're promoting it now. That's right. Got to help spread the word. I really enjoyed the movie, brother. Oh yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
Well done. Well done, my friend.
Thank you.
Brother. Well done. But
and it's definitely a throwback too. You know, it's got some of that 90s style action movie, which was, again, something we were trying to emulate.
Yeah. Really quickly though, the cast here, big shout out to Wayne Gordon. I interviewed him last year as well.
I love it. Yeah, Wayne is awesome.
Oh, that voice, his presence, man. Oh,
my goodness. Yeah. He's fantastic. Yeah. He's a movie star. He's a bona fide movie star. Like, he is. Wayne, remember us when you're on top and still come and work on our movies, please.
Yes, Wayne. Future interviews. But yeah, he's great. I interviewed him for his film, The Invisible Man. It was great seeing him in. I didn't know he was in the film. And then I was like, oh that's awesome. Wayne. I was like, so I got all excited. Yeah, Wayne's the man. Yeah, he's an extremely talented actor.
And such a kind person too. Just amazing.
Yes. You have back to Jackson Rathbone here. It's funny, because it's I just watched this movie, and what's funny is a week before I watched this movie, literally, me and another director, filmmaker, Billy Hansen, who did the film Bone Cold, we reviewed and talked about this movie Dread, which stars Jackson, and we love this movie. This was great. So Jackson, brother, awesome. You're killing it right now, man.
Jackson's awesome.
Keep doing what you're doing.
Talk about an awesome guy to work with as well. Him and Wayne are just two of again, it's that thing, you hear all these horror stories about, film sets and people being divas. It couldn't be further from the truth. Jackson's so down to earth. Wayne is so down to earth. Michael, Gillian, just even are so down to earth. Our main villain and Eduardo Costa, big Italian actor.
He was great.
He plays a nasty dude, but literally couldn't be a nicer guy. Like, just such a sweetheart, huge heart. I mean, it's just one of those things when you get to work with good people and you guys are all trying to do something cool and fun and putting your love into it, that it's just so great and amazing that we're getting positive results,
Oh yeah. And again, big, huge shout out to the power couple.
Yeah, look at that. By the way, that's on the island of Nevis, where we shot the movie. So that was like on their day off. They went and did this awesome photo shoot.
Yeah, they're both legit badasses. Oh yeah, and I haven't met Gillian yet, but I did meet I ran into Michael Jai White, Mr. White, a couple of times at conventions. Another sweetheart. I'll never forget the story of I always tell people this, where I made him laugh hysterically when I was talking to him about his film Silverhawk. Oh,
yes,
man. He was like calling for security. He was like, security. It was hilarious. We were
That's
having
awesome.
fun. But yeah, I got a picture with him, sweetheart. Hopefully I have him on the channel in the future. But yeah, Gillian is legit, son.
Yes, she's awesome.
I want to see her in more action movies for sure.
Yes, yeah. So in our script originally, that role, she didn't have any action, and I was like, we can't do that to Gillian. She's got to have at least some action in here. So she's got a little bit. She's got a little bit in the island. Yeah. But I wish we could have had even more, because she is legit.
That was actually one of my questions for the film. I really enjoyed the movie, but was at some point she supposed to fight a certain character later, or no?
I mean, it wasn't actually in the script. Okay. So all the stuff that not in the original version, obviously it was written in, but yeah, it was. I'm like, because again, when you're writing, you don't know who you're casting.
Right.
But then once we got Michael and Gillian, then we're like, wait a minute. And looking at her work and seeing what she's capable of, we're like, oh, I've got to get some kind of action in here for her, because she's just badass in real life. So I wanted to translate some of that to the screen.
I'm just spoiled. I just want to see more. I'm greedy.
I know.
I'm greedy.
Me too. I'm with you. I want more of that too.
Right. Well, speaking of more, let's give the live audience a little sneak peek.
Yes.
On the island. Let's do it.
So what's up, man? We gonna transact or we gonna bullshit?
I think we got a little lost in translation over here.
You okay? Hey, it's not a good time.
We are gathered here today to celebrate the life of our brother Akeem.
Tell me what happened.
He was staying out of trouble.
Trouble?
The island just isn't the same anymore.
Manuel Alvarez. Everyone calls him the company because he owns everything that's important on the island.
You know, the fingerprints belong to a Sicario, pretty vicious Colombian cartel.
This cop, more trouble than we expected.
Do what it takes.
He's never going to stop. You can't save him.
But I can't save our island. That's right. Had it, didn't need it. I could use it now if you like.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. That's right. That's right. Yeah, man. Yeah, man. You got chat right now going. I hope to be able to watch it on Prime where I live. Very interested. Oh yeah. Chat
Thank you. Thank you.
They're enjoying it. But yeah, let's take a look at it again. First up, really quickly though, Ron Palicki here. He trained under Dan Inosanto, correct? He helped with the action direction and stunt coordinating, right?
Yes, yeah, he was our stunt coordinator, second unit director, and yeah, another legend in the martial arts world. So, I mean, it was again, that was another pinch me part of this for myself was Michael Jai being the legit martial artist he is, and then Ron as well. It was just awesome, and then all the stunt guys were amazing. Some of them dear friends of mine. Others became good friends of mine after this. We had that scene there at the very end. You see a little bit. That's Jay Haran, who is a former UFC contender and now has transitioned into acting. He's also a good friend of mine. So he came out to the island, doing me a favor, jumping in there and scrapping with Michael Jai for me.
Yeah, let's take a look at it again while you're giving us some behind the scenes.
Oh yeah, I can do that.
Insight here, and I'm going to do the best I can to not spoil anything, because I want everybody watching this interview to watch the film, go out and see it.
Thank you.
Ron has been involved with a lot of projects, man. A lot of Steven Seagal projects, like the Glimmer Man, and some William Kaufman projects.
Yeah.
And I interviewed William last year as well.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, Ron's also dipped his toes into the Star Wars verse.
Oh, nice.
So yeah,
nice.
Right there, that is the island itself that you're seeing with that boat in the very first shot. It's
beautiful, gorgeous.
Yeah, it's a volcano, inactive volcano on there. Totally beautiful area to shoot.
Absolutely gorgeous. And it's what's the vibe that I got. You know, everybody's different, right? Movies are subjective, right?
Yeah.
But the vibe that I got while watching this was there's such a gorgeous, beautiful island with beautiful people around, and it made you feel really comfortable when you're watching this movie. When you watch this movie, it's almost like it's comfort food. Like you have it, you have it on and you relax while you watch it. But the theme of this movie is, it's beautiful. It's a wonderful place, but danger and evil. That's right, evil. Lurks everywhere, even in comfortable and beautiful places. Which is the theme of the film for me.
Yes. And that's what it was. It's that juxtaposition. It's the beauty is tarnished by the violence that ensues. But of course, hopefully the heroes will prevail in the end to bring the beauty back to that land.
Oh yeah, look at this guy. Look at this guy. Look at this guy right here. I still get people telling me, even till to this day, that they really wanted him to play Blade after Wesley Snipes was done with the role. But
by the way, he has actually played it once before in a video game, but there's the new Mortal Kombat. He plays Blade as well.
Right. Wait,
it's like
Blade's a character in the new Mortal Kombat game?
I think so. I could be wrong, or maybe there's just a new Blade game. But anyways, look it up. There was a trailer that was just released not that long ago with Michael Jai White in full Blade getup.
Nice.
So it's check that out. It's pretty cool. It's not just us fans out there that wanted to see him do it. He wanted to play it. Like he really wanted to play it. So
perfect.
He's so perfect for it. But yeah.
I love this beginning though. This is where you set up the characters. Both actors had great chemistry. Just so good. And,
they're so easy to work with, both of them.
Yeah, this opening really, it kind of had me cracking up, man. I was definitely getting a little bit of Lethal Weapon vibes too.
Yes, for sure.
Yeah.
And this actor right here, G-Rod, was awesome too. Who's with Jackson there. He's a really good actor, and he can do his own stunts and all of that fun stuff. But
he's got the look. He's intense.
He's got that look. But and again, also one of the sweetest humans. You know, it's always the ones that you would think would be terrifying or sweet, and then maybe the vice versa is the case.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, great opening. Boom! It's just like right on target. And I have to applaud, sir. Anytime, because this has always been my pet peeve with this channel for years. Thank you so much, Sean, for showing the action.
Oh, thank you.
Fucking up all the martial arts scenes with shaky cam and quick cut editing. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you. I gotta give the props.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
That's one of my pet peeves. Because you have so many talented martial artists and stuntmen that work so hard for these fight scenes, and then when you watch the movie, you're like, "What happened?"
Yeah,
like, what
we
happened?
we don't want to do any of the Batman Begins close up shaky camera stuff,
Yeah,
which strangely worked for Batman Begins, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, I got you. It's what's interesting though, as extremely talented as Christopher Nolan is, right?
Yes,
it's almost like he became a better filming of fights with the sequels. He started to pull back.
For sure.
He started to pull back and actually show the fights. So
yes, exactly.
Even Christopher Nolan can learn, on the go. When he gets better with age, right? But this is
absolutely.
Great. Boom, bam, done. That's it. That's a wrap, son. That's a wrap. That is a wrap. How many days was it to shoot the film?
I think we were 20 days.
Wow.
And then prep out there, I was there like a month beforehand. So I was out there for a couple months. But no complaints. I mean, it was, again, just the beauty of the area, and the people were so lovely. It was in welcoming, and this was really the first, I think, action movie shot on that island. They filmed rom-coms on there and stuff.
Wow.
In the past, but this was really the first action film there. So it was exciting. It was a very exciting time, and the people on the island were fans of Michael as well. And so it was just really cool to see him interact and meet fans from, a whole different part of the world.
That's right, Sean. You and your team kicking that action door in on that island. That's right. Being the first. Hopefully more to come for that island. They were like, hey, we need more action movies here. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Got Nate Dogg's in the house. He said, hello, I am glad I made another Fat Samurai Guy live stream. Well, thank you, Nate Dogg, for chiming in and hanging out with us, especially hanging out with Mr. Sean here.
Thank you so much.
Without spoiling too much, Sean, let the audience know what the basic plot synopsis of the film is.
Well, basically what it is Mark, Michael Jai White's character, he's a police officer. He's a detective, but he grew up on this island in the Caribbean, and he moved away for reasons that you'll find out a little bit later in the film. But he gets an unfortunate phone call, and his brother has passed away on the island, so he's got to go back home.
Right.
And upon arriving home, he starts asking questions. Of course, he's a detective. That's what he does. And he starts to uncover that there might have been foul play involved with his brother's death. And so this is the journey for him to, pull back the curtain on the evil that is trying to take hold of his home island, and hopefully take it out.
That's all you get. No more spoilers, but yeah, that's the basic plot synopsis there for sure. But yeah, back to the trailer here. Yeah, he gets the sad news of his brother's passing, and then the investigation begins. You know, it's interesting because when I first saw the trailer to the movie, I didn't really expect as much action that I got when I actually seen the movie. I was surprised. Yeah. I was surprised. I was like, oh, this looks like an interesting crime thriller. You know what I mean?
Right.
And which it is, but we got actually a lot more action in it than I was expecting.
And we also tried to subvert some expectations. I don't want to spoil anything, but there's some fairly shocking moments in it, I think, even right from the get-go. So we tried to kind of keep you on your toes a little bit.
The actress here that plays the mother,
she's local to the islands there. We cast a lot of locals where we could, and we crewed, 85% of our crew was all local. So it was really, really cool to get to work with the people of the island.
Yeah, it makes the movie feel authentic.
Yep.
Yeah, for sure. Oh boy. Okay. This scene, man. Oh my God. This scene here. I was like, again, not going to spoil it. But yeah, all I got to say is wonderful effects, wonderful practical effects. And I knew something was going to happen, right?
Right. Of course.
He's going to get slapped or fired. I did not know. I was just like, oh, shit. That was my reaction. I was like, holy shit. Like, wow.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah, we had awesome Healy Effects is the company and awesome team that did all that stuff for us.
Look at this dude. And how many times have I said here on the channel how important an interesting, memorable villain is to your movie? Yeah. Because I'm sure as many you've probably seen even more action movies than I've seen. But how many times have you come across a good action movie with good action in it, but you don't remember the villain?
Yeah.
And it's unfortunate. It's like, oh man. But villains really, memorable villains really highlight the film.
Yeah,
this guy's a really good actor.
He chewed up all the scenery for sure. Everything he's in, and he had such a good time making this movie too.
Really quickly though, I know Michael, his character, he's been gone for 7 years. So when he comes back to the island, he doesn't have his accent. But I notice the longer he stays on the island and interacts with his people there, the accent starts to creep back in there. I noticed.
Yes, and that was actually a conscious choice. It was one of those things like, I've got people from all over the world. I got friends from Hawaii who, when they go back home, they can drop back into that kind of local pidgin. Or like my buddy from Scotland, he's still got a little bit of a Scottish accent, but if he's back home or he, has a fellow Scotsman with him, all of a sudden they start talking. I can't even understand a word they're saying. So it's like, it was that conscious choice when he's with his people and he's, kind of getting back into that, the lingo and the accent starts taking over when, it's almost like another language in that way.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, that's a beautiful house here. Look at this location.
Amazing, right? I mean, come on. What a location. And I was like, we have to get the drones out there. We've got to film this house because it's so beautiful. And just, it's like I said, it's like one of the most beautiful places on earth.
Yes.
At least that I've visited. I haven't been everywhere, but yeah.
And we're not going to talk about what's going on right here. We'll let the audience figure that out. But yeah, there's the scene, kind of. That's it. So are you saying that this movie takes place within the John Wick universe? Is that what's going on here?
Yeah, there was definitely some John Wick vibes going on there for sure too.
Little homages. I love it. Ooh, we got some candy here. Got some candy.
I gotta have the candy.
Yeah. Oh yeah. This fight here in this little bar. I love the lighting. I love this location.
This is probably, again, super cool, huh?
Yeah, this is so good. This is probably my favorite fight in the movie.
Yeah, it for sure is mine. I think, it's one of those things. It's we shot that over 2 nights. and Michael did all his own stuff, of course, and you know, we're into hour, you know, 8, 9, and 10, and you know, everybody else, they, you know, a stunt guy here and stunt guy there, they get a break because they're, you know, they're either unconscious, they're on the ground in the scene, we're not looking down, you know, they can take a break. Michael's in all of it, so you get to hours 9 and 10, and he's still going strong. He's still flipping those kicks, and you're like, man, he's just a machine, you know. And over 2 nights, I know it was exhausting for everybody, but he powered through, got it all done. And again, there's the Jay Haran, UFC fighter in there. You got Gene Freeman, who's a dear friend of mine. He's the one who goes through that grading there backwards.
Look at that. That's
yeah,
great.
yeah. And so we did that first take, and he landed, and you know, Ron is there for safety, and I'm there, and we're like, Gene, you okay? He goes, felt that one.
There you go. Just get a screenshot of this. A lot more clear screenshot. Put that on the back of the Blu-ray there, the box. Is there going to be a Blu-ray or a DVD?
That's a great question. I'm not sure. I would love if there was one. That would be super cool. I'll have to find out. I'll do some digging.
Keep me in the loop. I would love a physical for sure.
Yeah.
But still, digital is you know, hey, as long as people are seeing the movie, that's all that matters.
Yes.
But yeah, that's my favorite fight scene for sure. But yeah, this guy is ruthless. He's like the kingpin of the island. And there was some interesting dialogue with Gillian and Michael earlier at the little martial arts school. I believe those kids they used, was that true that was their actual students?
Yeah, that was students of the actual dojo, and then, you know, just local kids from around the island, and they were just so excited to be in a movie, you know. So we wanted to include everybody that we could.
But there was interesting dialogue when she was talking to Michael's character about how people kind of ended up depending on the kingpin, really. You know, it's gotten to that point where he's into everything, and now they kind of depend on him. So very interesting.
That's his MO. That's what he does, you know.
These shots like this is what brings Samurai Guy to the dance. That's right. Let's go, man. Yeah, let's go. Let's do this. Like Wayne there. So I got a question about Wayne. Again, no spoilers.
Yes.
Was there supposed to be an extra scene that involves this character before what you find out?
Yes. There was supposed to be that little bit there. But unfortunately, we didn't get to shoot it. It was just you know, one of those things that unfortunately sometimes things have to get cut or lost or you know. And that one was unfortunate. I wish we had the time to shoot it.
Copy that. Another beautiful shot.
Yeah, that scene was actually really difficult to light, but our team did a really great job.
Yeah, great fight at the end. This was fun for sure.
Yeah.
Boom. I love this shot.
Now this is
both of these guys, man. This is a guy.
Yeah. So this little greeting, this little greeting that they do here, this is a real custom on the island. This is something that they just do on the island, and I thought it would be really cool to incorporate that into these characters. So that's that little greeting, handshake, fist bump thing. That's something that you just see locals do. We saw locals doing that when they're saying hello and to you know, close friends.
Love
so you know, I checked with the folks. I'm like, hey, is this something that we could include? You know, I want to be respectful. And they said, oh, we'd love it if you included this. So we did. We got it in there.
Yeah, love it. And Michael Jai White is already huge. Trust me, everybody watching, trust me, I met him in real life. But if he's this huge, look at how big is Wayne?
Wayne's big too, and he's ripped. I mean, they're both like just physical specimens, you know.
Yeah, I've seen Wayne's workouts. Yeah, he makes me tired and sad.
Him and his wife are just so shredded. I'm like, it doesn't even seem real. Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh my goodness. Yeah, she's an athlete too, his wife. They were both bobsledders. Nice. Olympic bobsledders, which I thought was fascinating. Wow. Yeah.
Some dual wielding. You know, you got to bring in dual wielding now.
Yeah.
Look at that. Boom. Yeah, it's my favorite fight. In that
and by the way, that kick he threw at like 5 a.m. in the morning on the second night of doing, all night shoots and fighting. He was still throwing that kick,
And look at Jackson throwing down. Yeah, man, going in.
Yeah, Jackson was game too. He did all his own stunts, and he in all his own fights. He was super game.
Great camera angles again. Thank you, sir, for showing the action.
No problem.
Thank you for not cheating us. But yeah, baby, yeah, the island. Oh yeah. Hey, ho, what? That scratched the action crime thriller itch, baby. Oh yeah.
Yes, thank you.
Check it out. The Island. It's on Amazon Prime. It's on Stars. Still #1 on Stars. There we go. The chat right now is going, digging up a can of whoop ass. There you go.
yeah, for sure.
But yeah, definitely show some support from my new brother now. That's right.
New brother from another mother.
That's it. That's right. Show some support for him, Michael and Gillian and Jackson and Wayne. I'm it's a lot of extremely hard work to make a movie.
Yes. Yeah.
And show some support. Make sure you guys check it out. And I'll keep you guys in the loop if we do get a physical. I'll definitely let you guys know where you guys can buy that as well. Well, this was an honor and a pleasure and a privilege, brother, to have you here on the show, man. This your second home now.
Yes, absolutely.
You're coming back, man.
I'll come back anytime you want me to. I'll be here.
Oh yeah. So before we wrap it up for today, is there anything you'd like to say to your followers?
Just thank you guys for continued support. It means the world to me. It means the world to all the people, the artists behind the scenes that make these movies, big or small. Obviously we're making them for an audience to watch them. So anytime our movies are just seen, that means the world to us. Let alone when we get lucky enough for them to do well. So just appreciate the support, and we're going to keep trying to make stuff that hopefully puts a smile on your face.
That's right. I'm smiling. That's right. All right, guys. Thanks again for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the old Samurai Guy. Check us out on Spotify. That's right, or FM Anchor. Movie Dojo podcast is growing. We are on fire this month. I've had so many guests. This is like insane. But I appreciate all the love and support. And I'll see you guys on the next one. Keep watching action and martial arts movies and a little bit of that horror spice. If you're a big, huge holiday movie fan, check out this guy's holiday flicks as well.
Yeah.
Gotta throw that in there.
Netflix, baby.
Yeah. But Sean, don't go anywhere. But I'll see you guys on the next one. Take care.